Let's start the program. Japanese Trader Radio Part.072. Today is August 16, 2026, Sunday by Giffen and Craft. 1 FX, 1 surveillance, 1 price movement, 1 this week's bid price of the target currency pair, Euro Yen, from 182.5 to 184.0. It's rising slowly. 112 this week's bid price movement of all currency pairs. Dollar Yen plus 160 pips, Euro Yen plus 190 pips, Pound Yen plus 280 pips, Euro Dollar plus 10 pips, Pound Dollar plus 40 pips, Euro Pound minus 10 pips. 112 economic indicators. 121 this week's economic indicators. 12th, Wednesday, 2130 the US inflation rate YOY. The actual is 3.4%. 13th, Thursday, 2130 the US PPI MOM. The actual is 0%. 14th, Friday, 2130 the US retail sales MOM. The actual is minus 0.6%. 14th, Friday, 23 the US Michigan consumer sentiment poll. The actual is 51. The dollar fall due to poor business sentiment. 112 next week's economic indicators. 17th, Monday, 8/15/50 Japan GDP growth rate QOQ poll. 18th, Tuesday, 18 Germany ZEW economic sentiment index. 20th, Thursday, 8/15 Japan balance of trade. 21st, Friday, 8:30 Japan inflation rate YOY. 113 next week's FX trading strategy and tactics. The yen was the weakest currency this week. The currencies that performed strongly were in order the pound, the euro, and the US dollar. The pound may become volatile next week due to a continuing stream of economic indicators. I would like to target buying the euro yen. 2 stock, 1 surveillance, 211 surveillance of 会社式法 brands. 9713 Royal Hotel. They are maintaining occupancy rates by attracting visitors to Japan. Stagnant inbound demand is considered a risk. 212 surveillance of holding and prospected holding brands. 2858 Kioxia Holdings from 48,010 to 53,740. 9984 SoftBank Group 5,484 to 5,739. 6963 Loan Company Limited from 4,710 to 5,016. 6674 GS USA Corporation from 5,450 to 5,653. 7806 MTG from 7,960 to 8,130. 505A Geekly 1,290 to 1,369. 22 Inspection Holding 285A Kioxia Holdings. I found an ex-post by an account called BNF Chinja titled 4 Bombs Planted in Kioxia to be interesting. Of the 4 bombs, the first is a stellar earnings report showing an operating profit of 1.27 trillion yen for the 3-month period. The second point is the extraordinary share buyback that exhausted 800 billion yen in just 1 week. This is a negative development considering the disappearance of the shield holding back short sellers, the exit of Toshiba, which possesses inside knowledge, and the simultaneous emergence of competitor SK Hynix as the largest shareholder. The third point concerns the resumption of merger negotiations with Western Digital. While this is not a new topic, it is a story that has been operating frequently in the news of late. A merger would create one of the world's largest NAND manufacturers, likely causing the stock price to surge. The fourth item consists of 9 leveraged ETFs currently being prepared in the US. Volatility is set to explode. I imagine that, unlike the South Korean government, an administration led by Sanai Takaichi would not move to impose regulations. In my view, the sustained demand for memory, which formed the basis for the initial purchase, remains intact. Furthermore, I anticipate a sharp rise in the share price driven by ETF activity, fueled by speculation regarding a potential merger with Western Digital. 3. Others. 3.1. Things to think about before falling asleep. I believe that the Geography Exploration section of the Tokyo University entrance exam is extremely useful for training in macroeconomic analysis for stock trading. So I incorporated the geography study into my to-do list. In the process, I was also able to get organized regarding various daily obligations. Upon reviewing the entrance exam questions for 2026, I found them to be excellent questions that prompt students to think about current social issues. It is suitable as an aid for falling asleep. It should be continued. 3.2. Ensuring sufficient sleep. The recent episode of Marugeki focused on the theme of sleep after 8 consecutive days of drinking left me suffering from constipation and lower back pain. A subsequent break from alcohol allowed me to clear my accumulated sleep debt, rather than sticking to a strict early morning routine. If I go to bed after 22, I prioritize getting enough sleep by abandoning the goal of waking up at 5 a.m. the next morning. 3.3. Revolutionizing FX trading methods. Until now, for every FX trade, I would take a screenshot, create a record for capital management, and conduct an individual review, and I limited my entries to the time before going to bed. As a result, I face the challenge of having no opportunities to engage in FX trading, preventing me from accumulating experience. So, I abolished these restrictions. I made it possible to trade 4 times a day without keeping a record of each trade. As for managing the results, I limited it to tracking the total balance at the end of the month. I must not repeat the mistakes of the past by engaging in gambling style or emotionally driven trading. To continue trading with a calm, steady mindset, I would like to draw upon the methodologies of Mahjong and the mental stability offered by Tarot. Thank you for listening. Bye!